Hi everybody, this is God King Pepe, and I'm going to do a little transfer review on the players who are out of contract this season. And here you have Adrian Rabiot, French international, central midfielder, can also fill out on the left, and he's about 6'2", and 24 I think he is now, maybe 25, and he's a young lad, really good player, sweet left foot, strong central midfielder, and Paris Saint-Germain are going to lose him on a free transfer. I think he would be an ideal signing with somebody like Manchester United, but it appears he may be going to Bayern Munich, so time will tell on that one. But there's also clubs interested in Italy, but for someone like Manchester United, they're going to lose Ander Herrera to Paris Saint-Germain. I think if they got Rabiot, it'd be an upgrade on Herrera. Speaking of Paris Saint-Germain, here is Dani Alves, the man, the myth, the legend. He's won everything you could possibly want to wish to win in football, and he's now coming up to 35 years of age. Monaco and Inter Milan are talking about signing him. Again, he's out of contract at Paris Saint-Germain. He looks as though he'll be part of the group that are leaving to bring Paris Saint-Germain back into the financial fair play rules, and hopefully, like I say, he finds himself a good club rather than just going back to Brazil right now, because I still think he's got a year or two left in him. Here we have Daniel Sturridge, the enigma, the injured enigma. Lovely lad, but can't seem to get some fitness together and play regular. And Jurgen Klopp has basically said to Daniel Sturridge that it's time for him to leave, particularly with Divock Origi scoring 2 goals against Barcelona. Looks like he'll be staying with Bobby Firmino, Salah and Mane, and then they got Ryan Brewster coming through, so it looks as though with Nabil Fekir from France looking like he might join Liverpool as well. It looks as though the attacking options are pretty stacked for Liverpool, and Daniel Sturridge now, he's unfortunately being told he's got to move on, but he's got a couple of options. Brendan Rodgers is now at Leicester City, and he's got Jamie Vardy there, and Daniel Sturridge would actually probably make a good strike partnership with Jamie Vardy, providing he can stay fit. Both of them would work hard, both of them peel off the defenders and would give defenders hell, making them turn and face their own goal all the time. But there's also West Ham. We know they love a free transfer. Daniel Sturridge used to play for Chelsea, you know, and he knows that neck of the woods, and West Ham are looking for somebody, because Andy Carroll may be on his way. There's talk that he isn't getting a new contract, so yeah, they're probably going to be trying to get a few strikers in, West Ham, and Daniel Sturridge might be a free, cheap option for them, although I doubt it'd be cheap in wages. Speaking of cheap in wages, this man is not. He turned down 220,000 a week on a 3-year deal from a Qatari club last month, and Chelsea are in talks to try and get David Luiz to stay, but if he doesn't stay, there's talk of him also going to Benfica in Portugal, rather than going to Qatar. However, there are Chinese clubs interested, and Oscar, his former teammate, is out there, as is Hulk, and a few others that are out there playing in China right now. So there's talk of David Luiz possibly going to China, but he's out of contract, and you know, that sideshow bob haircut, it's probably going to be missed by them. But another central defender is this man here, bit of a legend, Diego Godin from Atletico de Madrid. And this is interesting because Manchester United are a little bit involved here. They tried to get Godin before, Ed Woodward failed, and he failed pretty miserably, to be honest with you. and then he went after Sergio Ramos, and they couldn't get Sergio Ramos. It looks like they ran out of defenders in Madrid for Man United to go after. However, Diego Godin just held a press conference saying that he's going to play his last 2 games for Atletico de Madrid, and then he'll be leaving, he'll be moving on. So it looks like he already knows where he's going and what club he's found. There's talk of it being Manchester United. There's talk of it, little whispers here and there of it being that Man United can get him on a free transfer. He can come in, give some experience, shore up that defence, and he's one of the central defenders they're looking at. Now here's the twist. Man United have been touted for buying Kalidou Koulibaly from Napoli. And Napoli, with Carlo Ancelotti, are looking at Diego Godin as well. Carlo Ancelotti tried to sign Godin for Chelsea, and it's thought that Godin could probably go to Italy, maybe extend his career a couple of years over there, and play for Napoli. If Diego Godin goes to Napoli, that's probably freeing up a little bit of space for Kalidou Koulibaly to make a move. Now if that happens, then look out, because the transfer market is going to be set on fire with that one. It's a very, very possible thing that Godin could be Koulibaly's replacement while Koulibaly goes to Manchester United. But it's also just as possible that United can't agree a deal with Napoli, and so they sign Diego Godin, and Koulibaly has to stay at Napoli for another year. But Juventus are looking at Koulibaly as well now. Chiellini's not going to be around forever. They need that strong central defender to come through again and keep their push for dominance in Italy at the very, very peak. So Diego Godin actually could be at the centre of a couple of little transfer merry-go-rounds. And this man here, James Milner, he's just led Liverpool to a 4-0 victory over Barcelona, but he's out of contract, and we know that West Ham like him, and we know that they love a free transfer as well. But there is also talk of the United States of America coming in for him, giving him a big contract for him to go play in America. There's also talk of him going up to Glasgow Rangers and playing up there with Steven Gerrard, and that would be probably a good move to go up there, give the Rangers team a push, try to overturn what Celtic are doing. But there's also a chance that he might just sign a 1-year extension. Liverpool are in the Champions League final now. If they win it, he may just decide it's a great way to leave, and he might go to Rangers or to America. I don't think he's going to go West Ham, although we know that West Ham want him. But you never know. It's a crazy old game, isn't it? And Juan Mata, speaking of Barcelona, links in nicely. Juan Mata is being linked with a free transfer to Barcelona. He's out of contract, his mate Ander Herrera's off to Paris Saint-Germain. We know that. That's, I think, confirmed last week. So Juan Mata is on his way out. We know he gets on with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. We know Juan Mata is one of the nicest people in football. Does a lot of community work, a lot of charity work. A big favourite of Manchester United fans. He's loved and adored at Old Trafford. Really has been a good servant to them. And well, it might be that because he's out of contract, time is up, and he could be on his way. And Barcelona look to be the one that are trying to get him into back in Spain. We know Valencia are also interested, his former club, but Barcelona are probably the favourites to sign him. Now we go from Manchester United legend Juan Mata to, how would we call him, Manchester City cult hero, maybe a legend. There's talk that this guy once gave 10 grand to a homeless guy in Manchester. That makes him a top dude in my book. But Mario Balotelli, why always me? Why Mario? Why? He's been playing at Marseille and he's been doing brilliant. He went to Nice, He fell out with Patrick Vieira. Shock. Um, then went on to Olympique Marseille, and you know he's been banging in the goals in France. He's been enjoying the southern French weather and the lifestyle there, shall we say. And there's talk of Mario Balotelli going to Atletico de Madrid. There's talk of Watford, with the Pozzo family involved, and maybe trying to get him either Udinese or Watford. But there's also a little tickle that he could be going to Monaco, because he loves the Riviera, and he loves the way of life down there. It seems like he's enjoying himself on a personal level in France. So Atletico de Madrid, Watford, Udinese and Monaco are the clubs that could be tempting Mario Balotelli, but whether he can tempt them with his craziness and his bathroom fireworks displays and all the other stories you hear about him, Lord only knows. But I think as characters go, he's great. And a former Manchester City goalkeeper and now Chelsea goalkeeper, Willy Caballero, he's also out of contract, and it's looking like he's going to be released. Malaga in Spain is the rumour for him, because Malaga was a team that he used to play for before he signed for Manchester City. And well, there's talk of him going back to Malaga. Apparently he still owns a house there, so that could be an interesting one to keep an eye on. Yeah, he could be one that ends up leaving. And there is just one more player to talk about, and that is Danny Welbeck. Danny Welbeck's been told he could leave Arsenal, along with Petr Cech, who's retiring, Aaron Ramsey, who's going to Juventus in Italy. Danny Welbeck's been told he can leave after all his injury problems. Everton look like a destination he could go to. That's a possibility. Watford are actually looking at him as well. But Newcastle United, Benitez has always been quite keen on Welbeck, so Newcastle United might be an option for him. And I think if they can't seal a deal with Solomon Rondon from West Brom, Danny Welbeck on a free might be the next best option. But who knows? Who knows? I think we've covered Vincent Kompany in this. Vincent, one final player who could be leaving, and probably will be leaving, is the legend that is Vincent Kompany. Strong centre half, signed by Mark Hughes for Manchester City. He's been a great servant to Man City. He's captained them really well, and has been an absolute icon, if you like, for a generation. He scored an absolute perler in the last game to win the game. Everyone was screaming at him to pass, and he just absolutely launched his foot through it into top right hand corner. Great goal by him, and hell of a way to sign off with a 3-2 victory. I think it was against Newcastle, but yeah, was it Leicester? Could have been Leicester. I think Man City and Liverpool played Newcastle and Leicester pretty recently. I think it was Leicester. I think he absolutely launched one through past Leicester, and yeah, to win the game for them. And he's just a brilliant player, a brilliant man. He does actually own a small football club in Belgium that he has for developing young players. That's an interesting little fact for you about him. He did walk on the pitch with his 4 kids and basically do a lap of honour, and there was lots of tears shed. And it's sad to see him go. There's talk of him maybe agreeing to stay after the cup competitions are done, maybe doing one more year. But he wants to play. He wants the game time. And there's also talk of him going to Australia and to America. Clubs over there are looking at him, and he might look to try and develop his own brand. He might look to try and develop his football club and his own connections. but he's an absolute legend of a player, and the Premier League will miss him, that's for sure. He's available on a free. So there you have it. There's Willy Caballero, Dani Alves, Vincent Kompany, David Luiz, Diego Godin, James Milner, Juan Mata, Adrian Rabiot, Danny Welbeck, Daniel Sturridge, and Mario Balotelli. I mean, in all honesty, 11 players, very experienced. There'll be some big clubs after them, and it's going to be interesting. You know, this summer's going to be a merry-go-round, and yeah, there's a few little bargains out there to pick up. I think Dani Alves still got a year or two to offer. I think James Milner can still play and do a job for someone. Adrian Rabiot would be a good pickup, and as would Diego Godin. If you can get Daniel Sturridge fit and playing, and that's a big if, then yeah, there's some really good players there. So that's all your Bosman free transfers for this summer that I'm going to do. I've picked out 11, 4 defenders, 3 midfielders and 3 strikers. To be honest, it'd probably make a good football manager team, that. So yeah, hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, drop a like, a share and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. This God King Pepe, take care.